Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something.
I wasn't expecting that either.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
It's funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
So you have a list of parts. Which one do you feel like needs your attention first?
I'd say the one that's just telling me right now that I am lost. Mm-hmm. That I'm lost, and that I'm not going to be able to figure my shit out and get my mind right and find peace.
Okay. All right. So that part is getting your attention the most, or you feel like it needs your attention the most. How do you notice it in or around your body?
I have a lot of anxiety, like a heat and a discomfort, a clenching, but it's not muscular. There's something else that's the source of the energy, and it's in my abdomen, slightly below my sternum, I'd say. And then the rest of my body is pretty tense.
Yeah.
And it's like a knowledge that the felt sensation of self-love will not be felt.
Yeah. Okay. And
it feels like all the rest of my body outside of that central pain and anxiety, it feels like everything else is waiting to take a breath. It's all inhaled and pent up and hasn't been able to exhale and relax.
Yeah. Okay. So when you're feeling that way, when you notice this part kind of evoking all these responses in you, how do you feel towards it?
I don't want to feel it, but I typically do everything I can to distract myself from that. So I don't know what kind of a feeling I have with it, because I've steered clear of it as much as I can.
Yeah.
Which means it's a 24/7 foot race.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So there's perhaps a part that is distracting you from, investigating this, or doesn't want to go there with it. So See if you can tune into that part, any part that's pushing this I am lost feeling away.
So,
but yeah, this
part. I guess we can call that like the runner, the track runner who's just in a race.
Sure.
You know, and it's like right on its heels is this, I don't know, it's like the bridge is collapsing.
Yeah. All right. Can you try asking that part if it will step back just in this conversation so that you can get to know this other part that comes up that's telling you that you're lost, and just see how it reacts?
I immediately said, but the bridge is collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
How do I stop? If I stop, I'm going to fall off.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Just let it know that you see that. And you can offer it suggestions. You could ask it what it thinks. You could.
Right now, I'm like slightly elevated from like this runner who's leaning its back against the side of the bridge, and to the runners, it would be running on the right side of the bridge, running up over, and it's leaning its back against the side, and the left-hand side of the bridge, everything behind it as it leans up against the back has completely collapsed into it's just a pit, and I have no idea what's in there.
Yeah.
And we're both kind of just like looking at it.
Okay. Yeah. So just let that part know that you're getting that experience that he's having, that you're feeling that.
I feel really distant.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I'm not sure if the part and I are connected. It seems like I'm like this at like an elevated state, maybe 20 feet, 25 feet away, up kind of slightly up above, and almost off in the distance, watching it watch the whole.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're able to kind of see what it's seeing. So yeah, any way that you can send it a message to just let it know that you see what it's seeing, that you're feeling the sensations that it's, causing you to feel.
I just got a picture of forehead to forehead, like holding the back of his head and just saying that I'm here. I feel it. I know exactly what you feel. I feel it too.
Does the part respond to that? Did that connect?
I just felt my body relax.
Uh-huh.
So I guess that would be a response.
Yeah.
I don't really want to let go.
That's fine. This might be the part that needs your attention more first than the other part,
I don't know what to do.
How are you feeling towards this part now? This track?
I mean, I love it. I love it to death.
Great.
I can't believe how hard it works.
Yeah.
It just runs.
Yeah, show it that. Do whatever you can to show it your appreciation and admiration for its intention and its hard work.
All right, I think it knows.
Okay.
I think it hears me.
Great. Do you want to ask it what it wants you to know about it?
Okay, so at this point, I just kind of pose a question and wait.
Yeah. And if nothing comes up, that's fine. We'll try something else.
I mean, he wants to relax. He wants to sit down and enjoy the scenery a moment.
Yeah.
And like catch his breath and really smell like the pollen.
Yeah.
And the fragrances and hear the sounds and be alive.
Okay. So he's able to show you that. Okay. So you two are connecting, you're communicating. You could ask how long he's been doing that job, that running job.
That's forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's forever. That's
Yeah.
as long as I've been alive.
Mm-hmm. And maybe try to learn some about the fear that's behind that. What is it that this part's afraid will happen if he doesn't get your attention that way?
Yeah. I mean, I've got specific memories and just wanting to not get caught relaxing, not get caught in a position where I'm not busting my ass.
Yeah. Now, when those memories come up and the part's kind of showing you that, are you okay witnessing that with this part now?
Yeah, I've had these memories, very often, and that they're primary triggers for me. There's there are just instances where I'll hear a noise or I'll be relaxing in a moment, and immediately I'll feel it, and I know right where it comes from.
Yeah.
I remember sitting on the couch in my childhood living room and reading, and then across the picture window of the front of the house facing the road, I could see the van. The van pulls up, and I'm immediately having like blood drainage and feeling tingles everywhere and just panic.
Mm-hmm.
And I can hear the vehicle coming down the driveway, and I can hear the car doors slamming and the house doors slamming, and I can hear my name being screamed. And I know if I had been doing something, if I had been working hard, I mean, I'm talking like 7 years old.
Yeah.
Then I probably wouldn't have been singled out at that moment, and there are a lot of moments like that, man. There's just, and now every time I hear somebody call my name, I have like an immediate draining of blood from my face, and it doesn't matter what it is, even if it's my, I just immediately feel like, oh shit, I'm bad, I'm wrong, I'm not doing the right thing. I need to be fucking working.
Yeah. So this is.
If I'm not working, if I'm not proving it, then.
Yeah. So
then I'm in trouble.
This is kind of what this part has been experiencing and what this part is trying to get away from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're able to share those memories with me when you are just turning back to this part, when it's showing you these memories and you're seeing what it's seeing. You're seeing the memories it has and you're seeing its response of running. Are you okay with just letting it show you that? Okay. Because we're trying to get to know this part. and it makes sense to you why it's responding this way. It makes sense to you why these memories are part of its story, its experience.
Yeah, and it makes sense why it's got that crumbling bridge with the hole.
Yeah.
So, like the never-ending hole.
Yeah, so just direct that towards the part. Let the part know that it makes sense to you. You see it, it makes sense.
Well, I've got another part coming up,
mm-hmm.
and it's the part that's saying, you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
This is bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Like this practice?
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
The practice is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You're gullible.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fool. Like, you're a fool like your mom and Christianity. You're a fool like your grandparents. You're
mm-hmm.
like, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
You really have no contact. Like it's now I feel fully blended with that one that says, again, I have no idea what I'm doing and I'm an idiot.
Yeah. That part's kept
for thinking I can
that
I can
part
do
has
something.
kept you out of a lot of trouble and it saved you a lot of time, right?
I'm sure.
With all the cons and all the scams and belief systems that are not useful for you.
Yeah.
So that's helpful. It's helpful that it's looking out. So it's great that you have that, right?
It is.
Okay.
But it feels stifling,
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, it's like all parts. They all have their jobs that they do and we're grateful for, and then they have the parts that are not so great, and all we can do is get to know them and work with them. But if you have this quality, let's just call it quality. You don't have to call it a part or say you're talking to it or anything. If you have a quality called a certain degree of skepticism around whatever, anything that's not, I mean, I get it. Anything that's not scientific, real, holding your hands kind of stuff, then you can have appreciation for that quality, which sounds like you do. And you can have that kind of dislike of it at the same time when it's stifling.
I don't know. I do think that there are avenues for healing.
Sure.
But it's like I'm not allowed to really go into them.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of like look at it from the outside, and I can really read about it, and I can even start to practice it, but it only goes that deep, and then it kind of, this part just takes over, and I can't even.
This part needs to know that it's real to let you go into something.
Oh, so what I did right now is I just showed that part, the running part.
There you go.
And just to say, look, man, like there are parts here.
I mean,
and you're one of them.
You have memories. You have stories inside of you. You have your experience.
So there comes another one, and I'm not sure if it's the same one. Mm-hmm. But this one says that. This one tells me that my memory is faulty and that I've made shit up, and that I wasn't victimized in the way that I believe I was victimized, and that.
Okay. Is that possible?
Oh, man. I mean, in the eyes of a child, no, it's not possible. It's not possible to experience something that you don't experience.
Okay. Well,
does that make sense?
It does. I
mean, if that's the viewpoint of the child, then that is what the child went through.
Sure. I'm just saying that if you have a part that's present day saying you can't trust your memories, really what I was asking is, does that make sense to you? Is it possible for one to have, imperfect memories?
Yes, I know that that's possible.
Okay.
But I've also been, and I don't disbelieve my memories. Although sure, there could be, different color shirts and maybe the house is a different house or whatever that is. But the overall emotional, like the undigested emotional circumstances have not changed. They're still there, and they're the same in my body as they have been the whole time.
Yeah, and I think that's all we can work with. I mean,
right.
Whether something happened to you or didn't, if you're having experiences because of a memory, I mean, you can have a terrible dream and wake up crying and sweating, right? And the dream didn't happen. And it's like, well, you're still crying and sweating. So, we have our thoughts and our memories, and whether or not they're testable, verifiable, historical record isn't necessarily, relevant to our relationship with them. So again, I think that part, it sounds like a skeptical part. I appreciate skeptical parts. I got a ton of them. So,
well, this one, I think that the skeptical part, I mean, it's my brother, my younger brother, and he's telling me that, that basically his dad said that I was an out of control child, and so that was the only way you dealt with out of control children, and that, my memories are overblown, and what I experienced, what I think I experienced, what I feel that I experienced, I did not actually experience, and I was the cause of it all.
Okay. Yeah, and that's all stuff that I would want to learn from a part, and I would appreciate about a part sharing. And I just want to let you know that it's not my goal or agenda, and I don't suggest that we try to, verify every historical thing. So I just am putting that out there as a suggestion of, it very well could be that we don't have all the facts straight, and that's okay. We can still do the work and do the healing and get to know parts, even if they're confused, even if they're misremembering. It's okay.
So I can just say that to my brother.
You can say that to this part.
Yeah, he's right here.
Yeah. And you can say it with a smile. You can be grateful that you have parts that are looking out for you, for what's real. It matters.
Yeah, no, he's understanding. He said, okay, that's valid. That even if I'm misremembering them, and I still have these feelings trapped in my body, and that even if I'm misremembering, I still need help working on them.
Yeah.
And it'll be a benefit no matter what.
Yeah, and we're not trying to excommunicate these parts either. Like, we need, like, who knows, maybe this conversation, is a good one, but I turn into a cult leader and start trying to convince you of some crazy shit. You need those parts looking out. So, so we want them at the ready. We want them to feel like they can jump in when they need to. And this is just a way of addressing them and saying their points are valid, and here's how the work can look, even with those valid criticisms.
So I think I just saw the structure of this scenario, and that being that what's in that pit behind the collapsing bridge is my exile, and the exiled emotions are those very same statements that were profanely screamed at me, from the child of from my age of like 1.5 to 11, and really took them on as if it's true, and that would be like my, it's like a core belief. It's I have no idea how to overcome that, no matter who tells me what and what I talk about.
Yeah.
And that hole, that's the despair. That's the doom. That's where like that suicide ideation always pops out of. It's when I can't keep up with the running, and I can't get a trigger to stop.
Yes.
And I can't get away, and
Yes.
I fall in, and I'm panicking.
Right. So we can process. We can go through all of that. If the skeptical part lets us talk to the track runner, and the track runner lets us talk to the parts that are at the under that bridge or wherever they are. It's just a process of one at a time, meeting parts, getting to know parts, appreciating them, and letting them help point you towards wherever you got to go. And you find those exile parts, and you help them unburden those beliefs.
So what should I do next?
You've done a lot already.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I just want to celebrate that. I just want to high five you and say, you're doing great.
That's nice. That part that just jumped in and said, nope. No, you don't know me, James.
Yeah.
Like, really, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't do anything. That it came right in immediately.
Yeah.
The same one that says that when anybody says I love you, it immediately says, you don't know.
Yeah. I got those kind of parts too.
Yeah.
All you can do is get to know them. That's really all that's really all I'm selling here, is you can get to know those parts so that they're not surprising you, and they're not throwing you off. You're the captain of the ship, and these parts come up. They have their opinions, they have their sways and their votes, and you're able to just hear them, appreciate them, and respond to them without anybody going overboard. That's kind of the.
But that's great. But where is the self-love? Where is the feeling peaceful and calm and not just not activated, but like a felt sense of self-love? Where is that in all of this?
Okay. So the phrase self-love, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting that you say self-love, because I don't hear that specific phrasing in like IFS stuff. I hear about the self and how it is loving. So I'm not sure exactly what you mean by self-love, which I.
All right. Well, I think that what it means is that.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So
go for it.
You're capable of loving others. You've had people or pets or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your loving heart.
I have children,
there you
and
go.
I give them everything.
Yeah. So your loving heart is capable. It's not. You have the capacity to love.
Yeah.
And to me, IFS is taking that capacity to love and pointing it at parts of you.
Right.
When you talked to these parts earlier in this conversation, when you talk to that brother part, when you talk to that track runner part, those are acts of love, to take the time to focus, to listen, to validate their feelings, and to approach them with respect, and try to be on the same team as them. That's all an act of love.
But is there? I feel like I have had moments, fleeting, and that I don't know when in my life where I felt completely grounded and as if I was like, maybe I guess it's like that I'm the only one there. Like it's actually self.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what you refer to as self energy. How do I get to this, to inhabiting or only not blending, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So you tell me you've done your homework. How does one get to that state?
I mean, I don't like right now. This is a great question for me, I guess, because I'm like Mr. Homework.
Mm-hmm.
And
but
if I've done my homework, you would think that would mean that I'd have the answer.
Well, I bet you could come up with it without referring to your books.
Yeah, well, that, and it's just that I don't know how to make it happen inside me.
Okay.
Like I understand that. Okay, and I hear it and I read it and I see it.
Mm-hmm.
It works.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you do that? How do you actually do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a protocol. I like protocols. There's a script.
Yes.
That's great.
I'm sticking to the script. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And does that mean that I reach the same level of like self-understanding, awareness, and self-energy just by following through that list? It just doesn't seem like it.
I'm not going to make any promises. I don't know where you're going to reach.
Yeah.
Or
that's more skepticism. So
yeah, or myself.
So I guess
I'm not floating on clouds over here. I got parts coming up, and I'm doing my parts work every day. And I mean, it's just a process of getting to know yourself, getting to know your parts.
So yeah, I think that the moment you ask a question to me, if I can't provide you with 100% the right answer, then I really don't know what to say. Yeah, I listen. I don't know if I should divulge it, but so I'm like, that's where I live. I live in the scientific method. That's how I work my entire life.
Yep.
And so when you ask me, how do I do it? Well, I can tell you what the process says.
Yeah.
But when I put it into practice, I have not been able to reach the same conclusion. So the process is going to be different for every person.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that I can't.
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, again, I think if we just look at the goal of getting to know parts, let's say that's the only goal.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a familiarity.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It feels like a half measure almost.
Well, listen, familiarity, right? Like a family.
Yeah.
Like the Tibetan word for meditation is translated to familiar, right? What we can do, what we know we can do, even if everything's bullshit, is we know we can at least get familiar with something. We can at least tune in and pay attention. And so where that takes you, you're a scientist, I don't know, right? Just like when you set up a science experiment, we can show up and be curious and get familiar with the process. And that's really all that I think that we can guarantee about any of this, about anything that we do, when it comes to inner work especially. So that's what I'm offering. That's what IFS offers, is by becoming familiar. That is that is an act of love. That's the verb of love. You're wondering where self-love is. Well, to love anything requires that time, that attention, that familiarity. And it's a process. And it might be a lifelong process. Where does it get you? I don't know. But it's definitely a thing. I mean, unless you're someone who says, love's not real, which there are people that say that too, and that's we can go there too if you want, but
well, again, I'm feeling lost.
okay.
Not with the process. I wouldn't have reached out to you had I not committed, and I am committed. I want to work
Great.
and hopefully make progress with myself.
Yeah, you're doing it. You've already communicated with parts today. You've already learned something about some parts. You got to communicate with that track runner part, and if you want to do more, we can do that.
Well, I'm here. I don't know what to do.
All right. Well, we can get right back to it then.
Okay.
Can you tune back into that track runner?
Yeah.
It was showing you some memories.
Yeah, he knows I know the memories.
Right. And he'd rather not be running. He'd rather be relaxing and smelling the pollen.
Mm-hmm. Just getting like a full lung capacity.
Mm-hmm. How old does he think that you are? Can you ask him that?
I think he knows how old I am.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's current.
Okay, great.
I think he's been with me the whole time, and I just keep adding to that.
Great.
Maybe the speed of the crumbling,
Uh-huh. And what does he think about you going forward with this work of getting to know the part that feels so lost?
It just feels like we're all going to fall in.
Mm-hmm. So what does he need from you to help? Not to help feel like it's okay to do this work. And I'm not saying therefore go do it. I'm just saying what would he need from you? You just ask him.
I'm telling him that we have fallen in several times before, numerous times before, and we're still here. And if anything, this is evidence of progress just by being here and doing this work.
Yeah.
So
again, try asking. What does he need? What does he want? What would make it easier for him to relax so that you do the work?
Okay, so I'm getting the answers with the addictive behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
So the answer is which I don't know. I've been on a new run lately with just trying to rework. I've been overeating for a few months, restricting and then binging, and then restricting and then binging.
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with alcohol for quite some time and tried to give it up, and then tried to make new rules and made a bunch of rules. And now I've gotten to the point where it doesn't matter what I do; it feels horrible. So even if I have one drink after 8:30 on a Friday night only, Saturday morning, Sunday, I just feel like a sack of shit.
Yeah, I dealt with that.
And I'm seeing the same thing is happening with the food. I binge, and then it's like days of just feeling like garbage. And the only way to get out of it, is more addictive behavior or feeling like garbage until I feel a little bit better. But then the moment I feel a little bit better, I say, oh, well, I guess I can have a drink today, or I guess I can eat some of this chocolate bar. Or
this these other parts came up when you were asking the runner part what it needs.
Yeah, he's basically it's kind of like they're the ones creating that hole that's collapsing the bridge behind him, and for him to get some stable ground, he needs them to stop.
Got it.
And I can't feel good about myself while I'm running from my own behavior.
Insightful part. They all have good reasons for what they're doing.
It's just looking over at that part, the overeating part. It just it feels like it just has no control. Like there's no way for it to find balance where it feels comfortable and satiated, well nourished, but not, and stop and not just continue and continue. It could eat all day, every single thing.
Yeah. I've dealt with both alcoholism and, I feel the same way. I could just eat forever. So those are parts I have too. And I think this runner part, it makes sense to me that if you have these addictive behaviors, like dealing with those, or starting there, could be a really great place to start.
Yeah.
I imagine it would be hard to go to those deeper levels when you have, dealing with alcohol, whatever.
Yeah, and I thought that, I don't know, I thought that my primary issue was my issue. And, I've been in recovery for, since the last, I guess, rock bottom. I've been in recovery for, for over a year and a half. And I still don't feel clean and sober, because if it's not fully clean and sober, then it's not clean and sober.
Yeah.
And so abusing food and abusing alcohol, those are still abusing substances. And I'm still feeling like shit.
Yeah. That all makes sense to me. I think that those would be great parts to work with.
Well, I start each morning with a meditation where I try to access a part from current experience or from a trailhead. And I do end up with a little blurb and a diary, basically, or a journal. And I'm able to identify where what tensions, what bodily sensations I'm feeling, and what emotions are there. I guess today gave me a little bit of insight about what they actually look like, because I've really been struggling with that. Looks like, and I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, you're doing it. So if you want, just because we've been chatting for an hour, if you want to chat again, I would suggest, until then, thinking about, again, whatever parts are kind of coming up most here. If it is like, if you feel like, or if it makes sense that, yeah, we should, I should work on some of this addictive stuff first, then I would suggest, kind of bookmarking that, bringing that to your daily meditations, and then if and when we talk again, we could start with that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that, I mean, I know, because I've cycled through many things many times. I know that, if we're to speak in the next few weeks, next month or so, I will be further away from this last vice, I guess, of the binging and restricting. And so there may be a little bit more self energy there just from that, it's like
regression to
but
the
I know
mean.
that, yeah, it's just the way that this goes. I know the point that I'm at right now, which is the sick of it point.
Yeah.
And like willing to to give it all up, and feeling having like a bad taste in my mouth just thinking about these behaviors.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and I'm sure that I'm sure I have some availability to talk sooner than that. I'm fine with that. If you'd like to give another shot, keep working with me. I'm happy to continue.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna give it another shot.
Cool. I had fun today. How about you?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I really appreciate your time and your energy. It's unbelievable that you do this.
Yeah.
I just don't know where I am.
Yeah, we'll get there. It's a journey. Everybody's on. I mean, we're all on that journey. We're all on that journey of learning about our worlds, and we spend so much time looking at the outside world. We also have to learn about our inside world, and we're all kind of lost in that way, and we're all searching and finding all the time. So,
all right, James. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. I hope you have a nice day, and call back soon. Get on that. Use that same link and book another time.
Okay.
Great. Talk to you soon.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.